So Ronan, obviously you knew Dillon very, very well, both as a player with Tipperary, but also off the field as a friend. You know, to you, what kind of a guy was Dillon?
Yeah, I suppose I first really started to get to know Dillon in Thurles CBS, and it kind of grew on from there between being involved with teams and I suppose socialising around Thurles and stuff like that. And I suppose it was a friendship that kind of developed even more when he came back in with Tip, and like he was a really good fella and a really good person to have around the place, and a strong character to have in the dressing room as well. And I suppose we really got to see a good glimpse of him in the last 3-4 years. Just his attitude and the way he applied himself to train, and he was such a fit individual and really stood out of the pack. But like he was a great friend as well, and he was a great friend to all of us in Tipperary and even his clubmates in Canolty. I suppose we had a tough season last year gone with the hurling, but it was nearly a blessing in disguise that we got to spend so much time with him. I suppose a good crew was, after we got knocked out of the championship, got to head away to Croatia, and he was on that trip as well. So it was a really good, I suppose, way to I suppose the opposite end of the spectrum, like when you're knocked out of the championship. But it was a really nice time, and we all got to enjoy it together, and it was like it was supposed to happen.
While he was really focused and he was really determined in his training and in his hurling, he was a bit of a messer, really, wasn't he? Like, and I suppose one of the stories that sticks out for me was told at at the funeral. Actually, I think it was something about outside Hayes' or something one night with a heap of €2, 2-cent pieces or 10-cent pieces, and he sticking them to the footpaths and laughing like grinning like a Cheshire cat at everybody trying to pick them up then off the footpath.
Yeah, that was Dillon all right, and I suppose there's hundreds of stories we could probably tell about him, but yeah, he was always a messer, and I suppose in the dressing room especially, he was one that stood out, and he was just a great person to be around, and we really enjoyed, like I said, the holiday away, and we really enjoyed him around Tipperary, and he was a good character in the dressing room, like I said, and just that story of the 50 cents outside his is probably a prime example of the messer he was, and yeah, he was always up to development, and he was always one step ahead of everyone.
Yeah, and I'm sure if he was around today, you know, and the prospects of a Tipperary versus Kilkenny match in senior hurling, you know, that's something that he would relish, you know, and you know, as I said previously, the history that's there between Tipperary and Kilkenny, it only augurs for what's going to be a fantastic day in Semple Stadium, and hopefully a fantastic game as well.
Yeah, exactly, and like you said, he's really becoming a leader with Tipperary hurling, and that showed out last year. When the rest of us were probably weren't going very well, he really stood up, and I really felt like he was coming into his own. And like you said, he'd really love to be playing against Kilkenny in 2 weeks' time. And I suppose it's a great game to be looking forward to, and a really good. I suppose it's for a really good cause. Like the Tip Kilkenny rivalry is really strong. It's still very strong, and we just hope that it brings a big crowd and to represent Dillon at a good high quality standard match as well. And it's something that he'd love to be involved in, and would really like to be putting on that blue and gold jersey and facing the Cats.
And maybe like Dillon would be, as we said, was a bit of a messer. Maybe if we can pull a few strokes, as I said, maybe we might turn off Hawkeye, or we might have a chat with the referee for this game, you know, to see can we get over the line versus Kilkenny, you know. But on a more serious side, Ronan, obviously I'm sure you're encouraging as many people to come along on the day, and obviously if they can't, there are other means and ways of supporting the fundraiser.
Yeah, exactly. We're really hoping that we can bring a strong crowd to the stadium on that night. But listen, if people obviously aren't able to attend, there's an attendance e-ticket online, and you get access to a programme as well online, which is really good if you can't make it. And I suppose if you want to have some help or make some kind of fun towards the night, that's a good way of doing it. But we're really hoping that everybody makes a good bus to come out, and it's hoping to be a really good night and a competitive game as well, and we can represent Dillon at a high standard, like I said, with the Tipperary blue and gold.
So as Ronan has said, if you can't come on the day, you can buy your non-attendance ticket by logging on to the Dillon Quirke Foundation website or the Tipperary GAA website. You can also buy your streaming pass, and of course you can buy your ticket to attend the game on both sites. Once again, we encourage as many people as possible to get involved, to come along, to buy your non-attendance ticket if you can't, and support what is only going to be a fantastic, fundraiser and foundation that will grow, hopefully, from strength to strength in the years to come. Ronan Maher, Tipperary Senior Hurler, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Jonathan.